Welcome, you crazy bastards, to the next episode of the Red Cup Review Live. And I am joined this week by my better half, Baz. He's back with us. Welcome back, Baz.
What's up, homos?
All right, it's great. We're gonna have an excellent show in store for you tonight. We got a lot of things to get to before we get to the horror stuff. So we're gonna kick it right off by saying, check this out. One of my last reviews this week was about taking CGC comics and putting them inside of these frames, these wooden frames that are made by the Collector's Resource, and you can get them on the collectorsresource.com. Now, these are really adorable. If you guys want to take your CGC comics or your regular comics, I'm going to hold these right now like Mel Brooks holding the 10 Commandment tablets, but I'm not going to drop them, right? So you have your CGC regular ones, and you got your regular comic book frames. In case you guys got some comics laying around the house and you want to put up some wall art, and the back already has built-in hangers on it, and they work really, really well, and they got a nice small profile on the sides. But we're not just going to talk about the CGC frames themselves, as excellent as they are. They even give it like that floating feeling. I love the floatingness. Take a look at the floating. It's floating. Anyways, what I have in here today is the 9.8 Batman. It begins here, and this is the beginning of the Hush storyline, which is one of my favorite Batman storylines, because it's a lot of fun. It's not really deep. It just kind of goes through all of his rogues galleries, and it's just really cool. So if you guys want to get into like a cool Batman story, it's just a lot of fun. Check out Hush. Most of you guys that are probably watching the show have already read Hush before. But here you go. Get yourself a CGC frame. Get yourself the Batman Hush in 9.8 and hang it up on your wall. Okay, now that we got through that, that's the Collector's Resource, just so you know. collectorsresource.com. All right. I went to the Lair today, and I got an interview with a gentleman by the name of Jesus Marquez, and you can check out his art on Instagram. He's got like 4 years worth of art on there. It's Jesus. Can't spell it out for you right now because I don't have his card with me. Jesus Marquez. And he does very caricature-y superhero type art. And I got a bunch of art here, and I want to show you guys some of the art that I got. He did this for my son, Captain Awesome Grayson, as part of the Halloween Comic Fest that was going on at everyone's local comic shop today. And he gave him a Nightwing, Dick Grayson, to go along with my son Grayson. Isn't that great? So that is the headshot that we got today. Kids get sketches for free during these events at the Lair, laironline.net. And what I did was, because I'm going to be doing a video, I'm going to be crafting the video over the next week or two. You guys will be able to see that interview with this guy. And why is Jesus Marquez important? He just got hired by Marvel to do their Upper Deck trading cards. So when you go and buy the new Marvel trading cards, there are like, instead of like opening packs like we did back in the day and you get holograms, nowadays you open the packs and you get these like sketch cards. So they have like a bunch of different artists that have like different sketch cards, and they're like randomly put throughout like packs and boxes and stuff. So he was paid to do 40 sketch cards that are randomly distributed throughout the Marvel Upper Deck set that was for Infinity War and Thor Ragnarok sets. And I got some art that I'm going to be giving away on the channel soon. So you can check out this set. This is a nice Batman the Animated Series set that he did. Here's the Scarecrow he did that I got as part of the set. And this is all original artwork that I'm going to be giving away on the page. All right, you got the Scarecrow. You got the Riddler. All right, he did a nice little Riddler there too as well. And these are like comic book sizes. And of course, the Clown Prince of Crime himself, the Joker. And they're all done in the Batman the Animated Series style, and they're all signed by him. So we'll be giving those away. Oh, here's his information right here. It's Jesus, like Jesus, but it's Jesus Marquez, Marquez. He's a cartoonist, and there's his information right there. You can check him out on Instagram and go and check his artwork out too, when he does commissions and everything else. So if you guys are into getting some comic book art from an up and coming guy, semi-famous thing going on with the Marvel trading cards, you can go and check out Jesus Marquez there. Baz, what's going on, buddy? How you been?
Hold on. Speaking of Nightwing, man, I fell in love with the statue of Nightwing. I think it's from Prime Studios. Have you heard of them?
Prime Studios is mad expensive. That's like top of the line stuff, dude.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, his outfit is so detailed, it's ridiculous.
So it's like
It's
one of their
beautiful, though.
Prime One statues, because I know Sideshow is distributing them now, the Prime Studios statues.
Yeah, they're like what, like $600 and up.
Yeah, pretty much, man. They're really expensive. They're friggin' gorgeous though, and they're big. They're pretty big. They're bigger than they're anywhere from 12 inches to 14 inches, I believe.
But I think if you're gonna spend the money, man, I mean, it's worth it
The Prime One stuff. Yeah,
their
they got
product. Yeah.
they got a like these statues can be really expensive. So if you're gonna shell out the money one for one, basically go for the top, right? Like just
Yeah.
start at the top. Don't pussyfoot around and go for some mid-grade stuff. Okay, Yay Toys Plus. Rob, what's up, brother? You're probably working right now, so I hope we can make the last half hour more enjoyable for you. And Michael B says, "Where's the Catwoman figure? Where's the Catwoman figure?" You know what? I just did the review on Alex for Clockwork Orange. You guys got to go back and watch that review. And I'm learning new ways to edit and cut things up and put like movie scenes in without having to have YouTube break my balls too hard about it. And the Catwoman figure from Mezco came out today. It's still wrapped in the box in the corner. I just got back. I was in the Bronx doing the interviews all day at the Lair for Halloween Comic Fest. When I came home, I had the Catwoman sitting here waiting for me, and I couldn't get the show set up and get the Catwoman out. So she'll be out next week, and her review will be out in 2 days, 2 or 3 days. Probably by Monday, not tomorrow. I'm busy. I'm going to be doing stuff. But probably by Tuesday, I'll have the Catwoman review up. So you guys will be able to see the Catwoman there. Sorry, fellas. Sorry, Mike. I can only do so much in one day. Unfortunately, I was out all day today. So go check out that as recommended by Baz. Go check out that Prime One, the Prime One Nightwing statue, which I'm sure is gorgeous. I'm gonna go check it out probably right after the show here. Another thing I wanted to mention is we only got 3 viewers right now, but I'm going to see Day Toys Plus. Lock up in 20, working on fumes. 22 hours awake yesterday and slept 5 hours and worked my normal 11 hours. Jeez, dude, take a freaking break, will you? You know, the human body can only take so much. What was I going to say? Damn it. We are in the middle of Spooktacular, so Sideshow's been giving away a ton of shit all weekend. I entered into a contest where I had to put together, they wanted something put together on tinfoil. They're like, take tinfoil and create something. So I created a Cthulhu monster. For those of you who don't want to see the Cthulhu monster, you can catch it on the Facebook channel, official Red Cup Review on my Instagram channel, and you can see this Cthulhu monster that I did. It's about this big, made out of styrofoam. I lost. I didn't even come in as a runner-up. Thumbs down, boo! But Sideshow's doing a lot of cool stuff this week, so thumbs up to them. Speaking of,
I think it's pronounced Cthulhu, man.
Cthulhu, whatever. Cthulhu. It is what it is. I went to a comic shop. I was with Tommy T, a good friend of ours, at a convention years and years ago, and there was a guy selling Cthulhu books, Cthulhu, whatever, and he was like, had the proper pronunciation of it, and he like sung the name to us or some nonsense, and we were looking at this guy like, Jesus, dude, you know, all right, that's great, but you got to be singing us the name in the way it's supposed to be sung and all that nonsense. But speaking of crazy, weird Cthulhu-y type stuff, Baz, and I wanted to bring this up to you in particular. I'm glad you're here with me this week. Court of the Dead stuff. Now, here's a Court of the Dead pin. What is Court of the Dead? Sideshow has this thing that they came out with called Court of the Dead, and it's basically their own 100% unique license where they came up with their own mythology. And it's like the court of the underworld, and it's like a battle between heaven and hell, and everything they have for this is these giant statues. They do these premium format statues, which are even bigger than the 12 scale Sideshow hot toy figures. I mean, they're really freaking big. They're very expensive, $400 or $500. I don't have the room for that. I don't have the money for that, really, especially if I'm going to be sticking with the Mezco and the Sideshow stuff, the 12-inch. Although I think it's really freaking cool. I think the designs are really like fun and interesting looking. And I'm thinking about picking up this book called The Chronicles of the Underworld. Now, Baz, I know you're into like mythology, right? And crazy, like different takes on heaven and hell and angels and demons and stuff like that, right? What, did we lose you?
Oh, no, I thought you were going to keep going with that.
No, I was like,
yeah.
You have a what you call it? Like you're into that type of stuff, right? Like alternate stories on heaven and hell and angels and demons and shit like that.
Their statues. There was a Queen of the Dead character that looked cool. Some sort of mermaid. Did you ever see any other characters?
Yeah, they have like a half mermaid character that's like an evil mermaid, like a siren. They got this girl called Shard, who's supposed to be like the
amazing nipples on that statue. Yeah.
this girl Shard, who's like the only human to like ever go into the underworld, and she has like 2 swords that she uses to battle through it and shit. And there's another girl called Kier, who's like part of this faction called the Bone Faction, and she has like these giant like ram horns, like the skull face thing that she puts on. She's like a warrior chick, and there's death and all this other crazy stuff. So I'm thinking about getting this book called The Chronicles of the Underworld, and it's on sale right now. And it's also free shipping. And I kind of stayed away from it. I'm like, you know what? I don't need to get into another thing, Court of the Dead, this and that. I got too much other shit going on between Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and Marvel and DC and all that other stuff. But I don't know. I kind of dig that. I kind of dig the style a little bit. And I think just getting the book will give you the kind of like quench that thirst for like just crazy, new, weird. I don't know. You know, like this is cool.
It's like kind of dark stuff too, right? It's like it's not sanitized stuff. It's what you call it, violent, nudity.
Yeah, no, they're totally like they don't pull the punches with this. This is like an adult oriented, like straight up, like crazy shit happens. Characters get murked, they get pulled to the underworld, losing their souls and all kinds of crazy shit. So I'm gonna probably pick up the Chronicle of the Underworld just because it's on sale, just to see what it's all about. And they also have other books where they're like, they didn't just like release trades. Like, all right, how do you launch a product, right? Like a new product. They have like omnibuses of like comics worth of information and like stories of each of the characters. So they have like 2 omnibuses. One is like this guy Malestrovos, who's like the court jester of the underworld, telling like these stories, these like one-off stories of like different characters and their backstories. That's one omnibus. Yeah. The other omnibus is like an actual story of one of the characters and their travels through the underworld. And then there's the Chronicle of the Underworld, which reads like a textbook. Like you open it up and it's like the Bone Faction and all the characters and what the hell they mean, what their history is. So I'm going to probably get with that first just to see what it is, just to see if I like it and take it from there. But I got my little pin app, you know, as part of like this whole Halloween thing.
You may want to hope you don't like it because you're going to lose all your money buying those statues.
Well, I don't have room for the statues. So I actually did something really stupid. And I mentioned during one of their Spooktacular Lives, like, hey, how about 1/6 scale versions, like 12-inch versions of these characters? And a lot of people will give me thumbs up, like, yeah, you know, for us that don't have the room for these giant statues and premium formats, you know, give us the figures. So I have a feeling those are coming soon because Sideshow originally did those Star Wars mythos statues, the way like Obi-Wan's in the desert and Vader's like staring at the helmet with the fire all around him. And now they're doing 6-scale versions, like actual action figure versions of those characters, like the mythos line of Sideshow.
Yay Plus wants to know your opinion on Jack Sparrow being recast.
I don't know who's playing him. I don't think they should be making any more Pirates of the Caribbean movies, to be honest with you. I enjoy them. I'm watching them with Grayson. He enjoys the hell out of them. Pretty interested in seeing the new one, which is now pretty old now. It's got to be like a year or 2 old now, but it's got like one of my favorite actors in it. You know, No Country for Old Men. That guy. He plays the villain in the new Pirates movie. And I think that it's kind of run its course. I think Johnny Depp kind of pretty much did everything he could with the character. Plus, he's a little bit of a head case now, and he's been doing it for way too long. I hope they're not recasting him. It says Yay Toys Plus is talking about them. Wanted to hear your opinion on the new actor playing Jack Sparrow. That's kind of stupid. Like that's like he's been playing Jack Sparrow for so long that like they need to just retire that and just do a new story. Like
that last Pirates was like a nice send off. You know, they had everyone in it. Orlando Bloom, Keira Knightley showed up.
Oh, he's
Barbosa was in it.
Yay Toys Plus is saying that they're just rebooting it. Like they're rebooting it without Depp. Like what? Come on, man, that's stupid. Just continue this. Like Jack Sparrow's story is done, and now create a new, just as cool but different pirate for us to follow. What's wrong with that? At this point, Depp is Sparrow. Well, at least he thinks so. Well, yeah, I mean, that's another thing, too. I feel bad for the actor that he had to play the character for so long because now it's, like, ingrained in our head that, like, that's who he is. I want to see Depp do more roles like Blow and stuff like that. I want to see him get into more of the crazy avant-garde stuff that he used to do. Like, that's kind of when I like Depp the most. And he did a good job. But I guess it's time to move on. But rebooting is never a good idea. Just continue the story, man. Keep the story moving forward. Baz, what do you think?
It's ridiculous. It's over. It's done with. They shouldn't even make a new one with Depp.
Yeah,
just end it there.
Exactly, right? Just look. They're not going to not make a new one because Pirates is like their big ride in Disney World. It's one of their big things. Every 3 years, they come out with a new Pirates movie and it makes $1 billion friggin'. just get a new cool actor, an up and coming dude who's just as charismatic as like they got to get like a Chris Pratt type of actor, like a guy who's charismatic and young and swashbuckly, not Chris Pratt, and just do another pirate movie and make the character different. Don't make him this Johnny Depp version. Guy, do just something different and cool in a different way. You know, not everybody has to be the same thing. You know, no one wants to take risks anymore. It's ridiculous.
Chris Pratt, yeah, he would do well in that.
You know, a character actor like him, like a guy who's like charismatic and witty with the one-liners. That's like basically what I mean. I mean, he's already basically doing Jack Sparrow in space in the friggin' Guardians. Yeah. You know, that's Star-Lord. You know, so but that's what I meant. Like
Sea-Lord. I'm down to see Sea-Lord.
Another thing that was sent. Here's another sneak peek, real quick. That's going to be coming up in the next week or two from Red Cup. Those of you that watched my Cryptozoic interview are going to be happy to know that they sent me something else. They sent me this statue, which is one of their newer and more exclusive statues, Harley Quinn Pudding Pop. And I have these things where like they just have like the character's hands. So they have like a Batman holding a Batarang, a Joker holding a playing card, and the brand new one, because everybody's got to sweat Harley Quinn now. So she's like DC's answer to Deadpool. Apparently, everyone's got to be up this girl's
That is so weird. I don't know how to feel about this.
What, the hand? Just the hand thing?
And the lollipop and the Joker's face on it.
Well,
what's going on here?
It's like the pudding. You know, she calls him pudding, so they call it like pudding pop or whatever. Because the Bill Cosby jokes aren't going to fly like rampant with this one. But it's actually just from judging from what I could see here. Like, yeah, I'll put it a little closer for you guys. What I like about this statue in particular, or this line of statues that they do, is that if you had like your 6-scale sideshow Harley Quinn figure, or if you had like their 7-inch vinyl figure, and you had like a DTOF where you weren't just putting 6 scales in it like I do, and you want to have a little something different, you put the hand in, you put the Harley Quinn 6-scale figure in it, and like a playing card or something, or like another little thing, and you have like a little ode to Harley Quinn on your little shelf there. That's what I would do. But it's a legit statue. It's not I think it's like resin or something. It's like some kind of polystone or something like that. But it's not it's definitely not vinyl. So I'll be getting to that during the week. They just sent that over. All right. I got through everything I had to show you guys and tell you guys. Let's get into the week of pop culture news. Baz, they pushed back our movie, Baz. They pushed back our beautiful Wonder Woman 7 months to June 2020. Wonder Woman 84 is now no longer coming out next year in November. It's coming out the following summer.
All right. Well, luckily, we still have the Joker and Shazam coming out in 2019. So would have been nice. But...
All right. There's conflicting reports that are saying that the reason why they pushed this movie back was to reshoot. I'm reading articles saying that they have to reshoot 50% of the movie in order to reboot the DC universe, and they're using her movie as some kind of like flashpoint. Like, they're not going to be doing flashpoint. They're going to be like, she has the ability to resurrect her boyfriend that died. Chris Pine. I keep forgetting his names.
Steve Trevor.
And by doing that, it resets the storyline, and this gives them an opportunity to bring in a new Superman, a new Batman, and to reset everything. And they're getting rid of Jeff Johns. That was something that I read today. Now, all this stuff is conjecture.
Getting rid of Jeff Johns?
Yeah, because because Jeff Johns has been involved in all these movies, and they feel as though that he's one of the reasons why like everything's getting screwed up and all that. So they're getting rid of him and they're bringing somebody else on board or something.
Well, he's still going to be with DC, just maybe not with the movie division. Like he's all up in Titans.
And the Titans has been friggin' fantastic. Oh my God. I don't like. Let's stick to Wonder Woman, then we'll get to Titans. So what do you feel about them pushing this movie back? Do you think that DC is once again shooting themselves in the ass, trying to reinvent the wheel? Why else would they push them back 7 months?
There's no confirmed facts about this story. So I mean, some people are saying Flashpoint, some people are saying it's a rumor. I don't know what to believe yet. Some people even said that they're worried about the Captain Marvel movie going against that, so they're pushing it back. So I don't know what to believe yet.
For the Shazam, Shazam got pushed back too, but Captain Marvel's coming out in the spring, isn't it? It's not coming out in November. What are they talking about?
Yeah, that's what I heard. We want it in the same year, so I don't know.
That's crazy. That is freaking crazy. DC's really on the. If they're gonna play the ropes with like their biggest stars against Marvel's D team, that's not good, man. I mean, like that's really not good. You know,
it's probably like what you're saying is right. Reshoot.
It's got to be a mixture of reshoots. And doesn't the Joker movie come out in like the fall of next year as well?
Yes.
So they probably don't want both of those movies kind of compete. Maybe they don't want the movies competing with each other, but to push it back to the summer, it's got to be reshoots. And reshoots always said, look, every movie does reshoots, but 7 months, talking about 50% of the movie having to be remade, that's not good. Because that just means like, okay, we have to scrap this. We got to, oh God, scramble. We got to catch back up with Marvel again. Catch up. You know.
It's not going to hurt the movie, though, because people are still hungry for that character. They want to see her again.
Yeah. No, well, exactly. I think they're waiting way too long. I also heard that the next Superman movie is coming out in 2024. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, really, what the hell are they doing? Like, this is just insane now. You know, in my opinion, the best movie out of all of them so far was Man of Steel, and they just keep pushing it off. I don't understand. I just don't get it. DC, you're killing me, guys. You're killing me. All right, so there was that noise, you know. So
what
everybody,
what about what's good about DC right now?
Oh, the Titans, bro. Oh my God. All right, so finally I watched the first 2 episodes of Titans, and right after this show, I'm going to be watching the 3rd episode. And I got to tell you, I'm in it hook, line, and sinker. I absolutely love it. Baz was right. The whole fuck Batman and all that other nonsense. Don't watch that trailer. The trailer makes it seem a lot more dark than it is, and it is pretty dark. And the fighting scenes are pretty violent. Excuse me, but the fighting, the way Robin fights is freaking fantastic, man. I mean, they got him using his grappling hook, the batarang, he's wrapping dudes up, and I think at one point in the first episode he shoots the bat hook at a garbage can and flips it up, and it actually knocks 2 guys over, like the garbage can flips and hits one and then another guy. Super heroics galore. This is how you do super heroics, and I know that Yay Toys Plus is going to hang me up by my balls the next time we meet each other, but I'm in DC TV, bro. Fuck the Marvel Netflix stuff, because I like Daredevil season 3 is out. Yay, it's great. Whatever. That's what I've been hearing. I heard you didn't like it that much so far. I'm hearing it's good. I'm all in on Titans.
I stopped watching it. I couldn't deal with it anymore. Between Karen Page's whining and Foggy Nelson, I cannot stand that character anymore. He was crying about how great his life was. To his girlfriend, he was like, "Oh, I have this great life, great clothes, hot girlfriend, but I just feel so guilty because of Matt." And he's dreaming about Matt. He's waking up from nightmares. Like, "Oh, I just had a nightmare over Matt." Shut it off. I never went back to it.
Kevin's Matrix says, "What night is it on?" Kev, that's on the DC streaming service for Titans. So you either got to be in the DC streaming service, or you got to get yourself a jailbroken Fire Stick or one of those little boxes, the streaming boxes. If you're not gonna
new episode every Friday.
Oh, then every Friday they drop. So I can't wait to see that tonight after the show. So DC is totally crushing it with their shows. I haven't seen any of Arrow yet so far this year, but I hear that that's awesome. Here's something.
How was that Hawk and Dove episode?
What?
I thought we're still going with the Titans. You didn't even finish up with
okay. Titans. I'm sorry. I'm on like
okay.
I'm flying high here. Wheel it back. Okay, wheel it back. Titans was great. The way Robin fights is freaking terrific. He's got his bow staff. He's doing superhero heroics. His outfit looks awesome. His outfit looks Hollywood awesome, in my opinion. That's how good it looks.
What'd you think of Raven?
Raven's good. So Raven is playing the role of Rogue in the first X-Men movie.
Yes.
Okay? She's Rogue in the first X-Men movie, and basically Robin is playing the Wolverine role, kind of, like just like the way their dynamic works, with this like older brother or uncle niece kind of thing going on. I think that they're just giving you enough of her power to kind of string you along. Her character's interesting. She's not overly emo and depressing and annoying. She's just a troubled kid, and the actress is making it work in that troubled kid way. Not like, oh, here's just a stupid, annoying emo kid that we all want to smack. Not at all. So I think that's great. The second episode has Hawk and Dove. They made Hawk and Dove cool. I mean, like, look, I'm a DC guy, but like, the DC knows how to take kind of shitty characters on TV and make them really freaking awesome. So
it was perfect casting.
Perfect casting, right?
Yeah, for those two characters.
The guy from Friday Night Lights plays Hawk, and which is funny because I just got to the part in the JSA trade, the Jeff Johns JSA run where Hawk, it comes out that he turned into the villain. What was the villain he became that wanted to control the time stream?
Yeah, that was during 0 Hour. I forget his name.
He kind of looks like Obsidian a little bit. He's like the red version of Obsidian, like design wise. I was just reading that issue last night, right after I had watched that. Total coincidence. But
well, in the comics, they're like they're servants or like not servants, but agents of the Lords of Order, who is also like a group that deals with Dr. Fate. So they have, you have the Lords of Order, the Lords of Chaos. So Hawk and Dove are actually kind of like they have supernatural powers, but Hawk represents war, Dove peace. Actually, without Dove, like Hawk would actually like lose it. Like she actually keeps him calm. She controls his rages.
That's what turned him into the villain. She dies, and this is going back over 10, 15 years ago, guys, comics-wise. So Dove dies, and it makes Hawk like lose his mind. This is not on the Titan show. This is just the issues of what Baz is telling us about. But they made Hawk and Dove really cool. Their fight scenes were great. I can't say enough good about it. The acting is the way they're portraying Dick Grayson is so freaking awesome, and it's such a shame I can't let my son watch it. He's only 7 years old. It's really mature, and this is like, this is why I almost want to sit and watch it when we go, this is why I named you Grayson. Look at how freaking awesome this character is. And
he's the kid from the last Pirates movie.
Is he really? He was in the last Pirates movie?
Yeah, he was Orlando Bloom's son in the Pirates movie.
Oh, wow. Crazy. I got to watch the next Pirates movie. I'll be like, hey, Grayson, look, there's Dick Grayson on the TV show that you can't watch. And you'll be able to watch when you're like 12 or something.
So next episode is, Doom Patrol. They're bringing in Doom Patrol.
Yes, awesome. I love the way they're sprinkling the characters into. Michael B says, I like the Alfred Easter eggs. That was great. Here's something that Baz and I were discussing during the week. Talking about superhero shows that are still super heroic-y stuff going on without like during the boring parts, like the exposition parts, right? Now, we know that the stories just can't be fight scenes all the time because then there wouldn't be no basis for them to be built on. It's like, yeah, you want to see the fight scene, but you want to see the build up to it as well, right? So we're talking about Daredevil and how he stopped watching it and everything else. So we this new Titans episode has Dick Grayson. He's on the phone with Alfred. He's like making the call because he's got to like call in and something. I'm not going to say what it was. So even when they're not doing super heroic stuff, they're in their outfits, or even when they're not in their outfits, they're still doing some kind of investigating or like Easter egg thing, dropping another character's name, pulling in from the great book of DC. They're showing you that the world is really big and it's not just this small story. Works perfectly. So I almost wish these guys could write the movies. I want like Bruce Timm and Greg Berlanti to team up to make like the friggin' to be in charge of the DC cinematic universe.
See, now I'm excited for this era of DC right now, DC film, DC TV, because now without having Superman and Batman in the forefront, which they always do, like they keep making Superman and Batman movies, you're actually getting, by putting them in the background, you're getting to see these other properties that DC has, like Doom Patrol. Like even Titans as a TV series, Aquaman and Shazam are on the DC universe.
Right. Yeah, no, it's perfect too. And as long as they keep doing it right, the way Marvel was forced to do it right with Guardians of the Galaxy, you'll be able to take these no-name characters and actually make like, oh, look at how cool they could be. I was talking about this with Frank Castle during the week, one of my guests a few weeks ago. And we were talking about, he's like, Doom Patrol's whack. And I'm like, yes, Doom Patrol was never a fan favorite thing of ours. But if they do it right, it's like taking something like that, taking something like Metal Men. These characters really aren't all that great. I never had a Doom Patrol comic. I never bought a Metal Man comic. But if it's done right and interesting.
You know what character sucked for Marvel? Iron Man.
Yeah, they're a perfect example. Iron Man sucked for years. His Rogues Gallery sucks. You know, he was totally uninteresting. Now he's a cool character because of Robert Downey Jr. So this is their opportunity to take their B and C list characters and make them, well, Doom Patrol's like D list for DC and bring them to the forefront. Kev's Matrix, has everyone been getting free Spooktacular cash? I missed out on 2 $1 codes. Spooktacular has been releasing these codes at $1. There's been one $5 code. So I don't know. I don't know how much. Like normally every year you're able to rack up between $50 and $75. Here we are halfway through Spooktacular, and I think I'm up to like 12 or 13 bucks. I'm not going to complain. They've been having a shit ton of contests though. Like the amount of contests they've had, and not just the create things out of tinfoil type contests, but the regular just go to their page and enter in your name, your information, your email address. They've had like an insane amount of contests. So I think
there was like a Harley Quinn hot toy Superman Jim Lee statue that I saw so far.
Yeah, they got dude. It's been so freaking many of these giveaways. They're doing Mad Court of the Dead stuff. They're doing 3 live streams a day where they're giving away stuff during the live stream. So you can't. No company does this. Look, we all want the free money so that we can afford these things that we really have no business buying in the first place. But at the same time, we got to understand that they're doing their thing too. Been about 20 bucks so far. All right, 20 bucks, and then I'm at like 17 or 18 roughly. I sleep with my phone next to my head. I'm on vacation this week. I take off this week every year, not because of Spooktacular. It happens to be Halloween. It's my wife and I's anniversary. We actually got married on Halloween, and I sleep with the phone next to my head. So when it goes off in the middle of the night, I don't got to wake up for work the next day. Wake up, enter the code, right back to sleep. But I'm just friggin' nuts like that. Anyway,
okay, what was next?
What was next? Okay, so we talked about all the good things that DC is doing in the TV series. Let's talk about something really bad they're doing. Okay, this is something that's so embarrassingly bad that when I saw it, I wanted to throw the hell up. Gotham had their first look at Bane.
Oh God, I'm gonna leave the podcast.
And I think we might just shut this down. We only have 4 viewers in right now. That's it. We're closing the podcast down. The DC released their Bane picture, and that's it. It's over. Good night, everyone. Thanks for coming. No, it's fucking terrible, and it's so terrible. It's like Captain America wearing a motorcycle helmet with wings on it 30 years ago. Terrible. Okay, with the clear shield. You remember that shit?
Yeah.
This is so fucking bad. It's on the Gotham TV show. Whatever. They're reimagining their heroes and their characters, and this is it. This is their final season. Their send off. I guess this is some kind of Elseworlds thing. If you think about it in an Elseworlds style, it's fine. But this is really, from the emo hair that he has, that little flippy shit that he's got going on top of his head, to the Darth Vader-y type rib breather he has. The shoulders, he looks like Shoulders from remember the movie, Dick Tracy movie Shoulders, the guy with the green vest, the giant, he looked flat. That's what this guy looked. It's like, what are you doing? Right? So
he's got like an 80s Duran like haircut.
God, man. It looked like Duran and Morrissey. It was so bad. So I'm in the chat room, right? In the chat rooms for this friggin' thing when it's released, and some people are actually, oh, it's terrible, it's terrible. Some people are actually defending this piece of shit. Okay, people are like, oh, I like it. Some people making fun of it, calling it like Darth Vader nonsense, garbage, whatever. Fuck this show. And then other people are saying stuff like, it's 10 times better than that nonsense we got with Tom Hardy. Somebody actually said that, and this is like the part in the show, I guess, where I blow my lid. We get like this one part of the show where Rob just completely loses his fucking mind. When I read this, man, like, I don't know if I was looking at this guy, I might have looked at him and said, "You liked the Phantom Menace, right?" I mean, you must be a Jar Jar Binks fan. That would make perfect sense, because Tom Hardy's Bane, this piece of shit being better than that look itself. And I actually have a picture of it here too on my phone, so we could all fucking throw up together. Here, fucking nonsense. Here it goes. There's your fucking Dick Tracy villain with the. I don't even know how to describe that to somebody. It's like I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Dude, I don't care what else world or what dimension this is. You don't introduce the Bane character before Batman even becomes Batman. It's ridiculous.
It really is. It's ridiculous on a whole nother level. I don't get it, but whatever. Like, okay, fine. So yeah, Batman's 6 years old, and everybody else has already been in Gotham. They're all going to be, but maybe that's
I'm
why
saying
Batman's
all, yeah, all his villains, his whole rogues gallery is like 10, 15 years older than him or something.
Yeah, well,
That's okay. Listen, this show's going away. Goodbye. Farewell.
maybe that's why Batman. Maybe this whole time, everybody in the chat room, all of us, maybe this whole time, us being Batman fans, the reason why Batman's so awesome is because everyone in his fucking rogues gallery is in their 60s and he's in his 30s and he's just beating up geriatrics. So maybe he's not really that cool as we think he is. He's just beating up on a bunch of old people. That's why he's so awesome. No, but I digress. It was
it's
terrible.
only for us, man. My girl actually likes it. So, but and I like the fact that she likes it because this way she gets to know the characters. So when I mention a character, she knows them because she watches Gotham or something. You know what I mean? So,
well, look,
it's a way, I guess, for people who don't know this.
The show serves its purpose, but it's really Kev's Matrix just said the funniest thing. Thank you, honey, Miss Bell with the water clutch.
I just saw Miss Bell's reflection in the mirror. You can see it.
She says, "Oh shit!"
She's caught. Somebody's gonna freeze frame that now.
Kev's Matrix writes, "It's the garbage prop department meets costume wars." Oh God! No, there's people that are actually defending that ugly costume. Yes, there are actually people defending that piece of shit. I don't get it.
Why? I guess they're invested in the show.
Bane. Yeah. Whatever. It's fucking terrible. Anyways.
Okay, back to something good. Flash.
Back to something good. Now, this is it. This is the close of the pop culture we can review before we get to our horror stuff. And John Wesley Shipp is reprising his role as the original Flash. How fucking cool is that?
Yes.
I mean, if I wish I had one of those little applause. Yeah. When I saw that
picture, everything right with John Wesley Shipp on the Flash.
What happened?
It's like they're doing everything right with John Wesley Shipp on the Flash.
Yeah, I mean, dude, during the Elseworlds, because this is during the Elseworlds crossover, right? They're gonna have him come back as the Flash in the freaking 90s Flash costume. I'm so happy for this actor. I'm so happy that because he was never really in anything else, and he was always the Flash. And back in the day, back when we discussed this on earlier episodes of the show, where we talk about people being spoiled and us having to go through the days of just having the 66 Batman show and just the Hulk from the 70s. And there was a time when the John Wesley Shipp Flash came out, which was right between the 89 Batman movie and Batman Returns in 1990. And it was a great costume for the time. And it was a superhero-y show. It had Mark Hamill on it, and it was just so cool for what it was back then. And now here we are, almost 20-something, 30-something years later, and he's actually back in the freaking outfit. I mean, they made him Jay Garrick, which was the smartest thing they've ever done on that show, and now he's actually back in the Flash outfit. I just think it's great.
The first time they showed Barry Allen going into the Speed Force on the new series, they showed little bits of different, say, future time and other planets. They showed Supergirl before he met her and stuff, and they showed actually John Wesley Shipp as the Flash. So it was a little hint maybe they'll do it, but I didn't actually think they would, and they actually are going to do this.
Which almost makes the first season of the Flash that much cooler too, right?
Oh, yeah.
It really just
the fact that they were able to make him Jay Garrick also.
Yeah.
And then also bring him back as the Flash, as his character from the 90s. It's such great fan service. It's awesome.
Then this is it, man. This is the golden age for us liking hero stuff. And I just think the more the merrier. And I know it's getting a little bit of OD with the amount of shows they have, but I don't care, because there's going to be a time when we don't have this shit no more. And then we're going to be going on Netflix going, remember, we had a whole bunch of superhero things, and we'll have all these shows to watch.
And then Superman's in the crossover too.
Yeah, and Superman's going to be in his black outfit or whatever, and it's just it seems great. Robert Just a Fan. Hey, Robert Just a Fan, I wanted to mention, thanks for subbing. I've seen you in the chat for weeks and weeks now, and I'm glad to have you back on. And I saw you just subbed, and I'm like, I thought this guy was already a sub, but thanks for subbing. So shout out to you. That was great.
What's up, man?
There's also a birthday, and he's not in the chat right now because he's probably celebrating his birthday, but he will watch this afterwards because I'll tell him, you better tune in at the halfway mark or the 40-minute mark where we sing happy birthday to Knickknack's Plastic Planet. So here's my Marilyn Monroe happy birthday, Mr. Knickknack Plastic Planet. Happy birthday to you. All right, buddy. Happy birthday. Hope you had a great day. And he'll be back on probably in like late November or early December. I'm saving him for another special episode. As is
you just made the mutant leader's nipples hard.
Oh, a mutant leader with his hard nipples.
Look at those. Jesus.
That's totally series hard nipples right there. Anyways, that's all I got for the week in pop culture right here. We're at the 40-minute mark. Let's get into the meat and potatoes, Baz. It is Halloween week. And you're a Halloween guy. I'm a Halloween guy. The magic of October. We talk about this all the time.
My birthday's in October. I was celebrating it. That's why I wasn't around last weekend.
There you go. You had your birthday celebration last week. So happy birthday for you for last week.
Thank you.
Everybody in the chat, happy birthday. Happy birthday, Nick Knack. Happy birthday, Baz, for last week. So there's the magic of October, right? And the closer we get to Halloween, obviously, like the Great Pumpkin comes every year on Channel 2 or Channel 4, right? ABC, something like that. Channel 7, maybe. We got to do now the obligatory horror episode. So here we go. We're going to start with our horror theme stuff now.
Yeah.
And I asked...
Dude, I was thinking about this. Hold on. I was thinking about this. In the 80s, like the way superhero movies are now, I think horror movies were to us, right?
Yeah, kind of. That's like, good point. Good catch there. It's like the horror movies of the 80s is like the superhero movies of today are like what horror movies were in the 80s. Good call.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, I caught and this wasn't in the 80s. I think this was early 90s, but we watched Hellraiser 3: Hell on Earth last night, which was freaking terrible. But it was probably the worst of the Hellraiser movies. But Laura just happened to put it on. And I was like, you know what? She's like, what is this? What's Pinhead? So I had to give her the whole breakdown of Pandora's box and the lament configuration and all that bullshit. Okay, let's say belated birthday, Baz. Baz has got some happy birthdays coming in. Robert Just a Fan just got Superman Bionic Man Love. It trying to get an extra. It's a pain to get. What's a pain to get? What the hell are you talking about? I just got Superman Bionic Man Love. Okay. Well, I'm glad you got
Bionic
it.
Man.
Bionic Man? What? And see the original Bionic Man figure in $12
million man.
No. What are you, Chevy Chase in Caddyshack?
Kev's Matrix 3011 coming home to kill soon.
Oh, nice. 3011. Oh yeah, that's a pretty nice figure there. Yeah. Oh, the 1/6 scale figure. Yes, very cool.
You know that Leatherface predated all these famous slasher characters. His movie Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out in '74.
It was 74, right? Wow.
1974, and then you have Halloween next in 1978.
That was 78, huh? Wow, unbelievable. And I guess this whole idea behind the slasher was pretty much born with Hitchcock's Psycho movie, right?
Yeah, in 1960, Psycho.
Right.
Yeah.
So you had Psycho in 60, then you had, which is like that's going way back. Then you had Night of the Living Dead, right? That was 68, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then from
Sounds
there
right.
you had your Texas Chainsaw Massacre. All right, so here we go. I asked Baz this week to series of questions to come up with, and we want everybody for every question we ask to write yours in the chat room. Talk amongst yourselves. Send us some questions. Okay. 3 favorite horror movies. We're going to go back and forth. This does not have to be in an order. This isn't order, my first favorite, second favorite, third favorite. It's just 3 favorite horror movies, and we're going to start out with our 3 favorites. So I'm going to kick it off, Baz, and then I'm going to kick it to you, if you don't mind, because then you're going to get the next category to start it off. So this is just 3 favorite horror movies, not necessarily movies that scared you the most. That's another category. 3 favorite horror movies. So my third favorite horror movie is kind of out of left field. A lot of people might not agree with this, but it's actually American Psycho. I absolutely love Patrick Bateman's character, and I love the way Batman Right, there he is, right on the table. Portrayed him, and it's not really that graphic. But the reason why I actually read the book as well, and the book was one of two books I read in my life that I had to put down while reading because it was making me sick. Eli Whitney's Night about the Holocaust, and this book by Easton Ellison, American Psycho. The book is insane. It's freaking insanely graphic. The movie, not as graphic, but I love the character and I love the idea that it takes place in his mind and he's like a true nutbag serial killer. So that comes in at my number 3 slot. Plus, I mean, how the hell do you not like every freaking movie that this actor is in? Baz.
Such a unique film that you forget that it's horror.
Yeah, it is horror, but it rides the line between like psychological thriller and horror. You know, the same way I would say Silence of the Lambs is a horror movie, but it really isn't. You know, it's kind of like ambiguous like that. So what did you think of American Psycho? Did you enjoy it? Not a lot of people enjoyed it when it first came out.
I loved the whole dialogue with him talking about the Huey Lewis album.
Yep. You actually get to see Batman kill the Joker on screen with an axe.
Joker, Jared
Paul, do you like Huey Lewis in the news? Is that an axe? Yes, it is. And he just smacks him in the face with it. Oh God.
He had like all this this little trivia for like Huey Lewis and like Phil Collins and like what particular song ranked on the Billboard Top 100, and it was cool.
Definitely cool. All right, Baz.
The way he obsessed over the color of the business card.
Yeah. Oh, look at the texture.
Yeah.
Look at the eggshell on it.
Oh. Eggshell. Yeah.
He's like going into like this orgasmic state, staring at the guy's fucking card. What a fucking nutbag.
Okay, so my pick. This was hard, man, because I got a lot of favorites. But number 3, I put American Werewolf in London.
What a great friggin' pick, and that almost made my list. I'm glad I didn't pick it now for that reason.
Okay, the scene when him and his friend are backpacking.
Oh my God!
And they get attacked, terrifying.
That was one of the first movies I seen in the theater. I remember seeing in the theater as a kid, and I had no business seeing it because I was like, I think that came out in what 86, I want to say, or 87, and I was like 4 or 5.
Earlier.
Might have been even
like
earlier.
84, 83. Yeah.
If it was 80, I saw that in the theater. I must have been 3 years old, and my parents just didn't even give a shit. They were just like, "Look, this is what we're going to see. We don't care. Just shut your mouth and don't."
That's
cry.
how all parents were. It didn't matter. Yeah, rated R didn't matter.
We're going to see. We don't care, and you're just dealing with it. It's when he's in the movie theater looking at his friend that got torn apart and half of his face is missing.
Yeah.
You know, John Landis did such a good freaking job with the special effects in that movie, and the way the guy's face was torn out really just haunted me for freaking years. Talk about nightmare fuel for a kid, bro.
Yeah.
And I still think it has to this day. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Yeah, that's it. Like, you know, like I always tell you, like, you know, I don't get afraid during horror movies. They just interest me. But some of them actually do have scared me, and that was one of them. And that has to do with the makeup of that guy. I think his name is Baker. Is it Kyle Baker?
I'm
the
not
guy
sure.
who did the prosthetics.
The prosthetics. Perfect.
Because he also did Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Yes. Yep. There's another thing. That scared the shit out of me too as a kid. I actually thought of that. When I was thinking about horror things, I was like, wow, Thriller was pretty fucked up, man. And still to this day, I think has the best wolf transformation. Could you imagine that 30 years ago? I still haven't seen a cooler, more visceral and crazier looking wolf transformation, in my opinion.
That's nothing tops it. Robert just a fan says Rick Baker.
There you go. You got it right there. All right, I'm gonna kick it to the chat real quick, and we're gonna see that Kevin's Matrix, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Halloween. Okay, all the standards, all great choices. Robert just a fan. Shining, Evil Dead 2, great choice. Fright Night, another great choice. Another movie that scared the shit out of me, especially when the girl's jaw unlocks when she vamps out. Let's see, Kev's Matrix, Where I Learned from the Birds and the Bees from Friday the 13th. Lesser known movies. I love The Dark Knight of the Scarecrow. Never seen it, never heard of it, but I guess I gotta watch it. Remember sneaking into the movies to see Poltergeist. Poltergeist was actually pretty freaking scary. It was only a PG. I think that movie was PG or PG-13. They had really low standards back in the day as far as like horrible shit. for kids to be able to go into a theater and see. All right, moving on. My number 2, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
The first
This
one?
movie is so freaking disturbing. This is the original. Now, I didn't see the original originally because one, I wasn't alive. 2, I didn't see it until I was much, much older. I actually saw all the newer ones and was interested. Let me go back. And I had this thing where like 1970s and early 80s horror movie I stood away from because I'm just like a big pussy, right? So I was like, all right, I'm staying away from these real hardcore horror movies, and I'll stick with like the newer, kind of more cool, a little flashy, little horror type stuff. And I went back and watched this movie, and it talk about nightmare fuel. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is the original scare for your life because this imposing dude and this crazy cannibalistic family, you're trapped, and you and your friends are fucked. That's pretty much that's all I have to say about that. Baz?
Yeah, he's the original slasher. I guess he's the prototype of like Michael Myers and Jason, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, dude, a guy walking around with someone else's face for his face. It's insane.
The whole,
I'm cutting it off there because I'm cutting it off there because the Texas Chainsaw Massacre does show up later on in the show. Everybody, so Baz, give me your next choice, please.
Number 2 is Poltergeist.
Oh, speaking of Poltergeist, wow, I'm surprised you went there too. Let's hear about it. I'm interested to hear your take on this movie.
Yeah, even though it was a Spielberg movie, which he usually does like, family friendly stuff, this movie scared the shit out of me, man. Especially just, the whole thing with the haunted houses just scare me, the whole idea. Because it's kind of rooted in some sort of reality. Some people really believe there's a good possibility that there are haunted houses out there. So just, the whole idea of what you can't see is scary to me.
Anything in that movie, any scene in particular that really screwed with you?
Well, there's a few of them. I mean, the one where the little boy looks underneath his bed and that clown attacks him.
Just drags him underneath, right? Unbelievable.
That one. I mean, just the whole, just the little girl, Carol Ann, staring at the TV, with the what you call the fuzz on it. I mean, that was just spooky and eerie.
Check it out. That fuzz, right? Like, okay, normal Monday things that are kind of weird that you watch a movie and it like turns it up to 11, right? We watched Jaws. You ain't going in the water anymore, right? Everyone's now scared to go in the ocean because of that shit. When I was a kid and I saw Poltergeist, every time that fuzz came on, because this was before my family was way late to get cable. And I remember the fuzz coming on. I remember the Indian coming on at the end of TV, kind of like TV's over now, and then the fuzz coming on. And that fuzz, I remember waking up in the middle of the night if we would fall asleep in the living room and wake up to go to bed and seeing that fuzz and it just scaring the hell out of me between the noise. I felt like I would hear noises in the fuzz itself, like other radio channels and TV things getting kind of brought in through the broadcast lines and stuff. I just thought it was spooky as hell.
Even like when the tree came through the house.
Oh God, that was it. That was towards the end, right? Like when the house starts sinking.
Yeah, that was, man, it was a creepy movie. Well done.
Okay, so my number 1, and this is my number 1 favorite horror movie of all time, and that's The Devil's Rejects. Now, there's a reason why this is my favorite horror movie of all time. Number 1, I think it's terrifying, the family in and of itself. I love Rob Zombie's directing. I like the way he directs movies to begin with. And I like the idea that he was able to take these psychopathic killers and murderers who you're supposed to hate and makes them likable characters to the point where you almost find yourself halfway through the movie rooting for Captain Spaulding and his family. Like, they're horrible. They do horrible shit. From A House of a Thousand Corpses, you see how they torture these people and gut them and turn them into like, part of their amusement stuff and all that. And they rape and kill all these kids. It's awful. And then halfway through the movie, you're like laughing along with them. The movie opens up practically with them kidnapping the family. The guy, the son, Captain Spaulding's son, cuts the face off of another dude. I'm the devil, and I'm here to do the devil's work, right? And he carves the guy's face off, then puts it on the guy's wife's face to wear. Crazy, horrible shit, right? And then you're like, yo, someone's got to find, like, William Forsythe has to find these guys and fuck them up, bring them to justice. And then he hires Diamond Dallas Page and the other bounty hunter to help. And you're like, yeah, let's go kick their ass. Then they show you these guys eating ice cream, telling jokes to one another, hanging out at whorehouses. And you almost are like, wow, they're kind of cool. Some part of your psyche is telling you that they're like a regular family, but they're not. They're the worst thing ever. So that's why it's my favorite movie. Is that to me, when I watch it, it fucks with me on a mental level. Like, why am I rooting for and against these characters at the same time?
I've never finished that movie.
Devil's Rejects. Oh man.
Yeah, I have to rewatch it. I don't know. I never finished it. But actually, speaking of Rob Zombie, I went back to 2 Halloween films, and I really like those.
I like both horror. The first one was great. A lot of people didn't like the second one because of the esotericness. I didn't mind it at all. I'm into that crazy, weird, like, thing outside the box.
That actually scared me, the weirdness of it.
Yeah, of the second one. Yeah, and I enjoyed both of them. So what's your number one, man?
My number one is this movie also scared me and still spooks me out to this day. Hellraiser 1.
Oh God. Yeah, talk about your vomit fest of gore.
I mean, this is a demon from hell. I'm a Catholic schoolboy. I have I believe that there could be a hell. So these characters actually have some real life validity to me. And they're tormentors, they're demons. They come out, they rip your flesh out with hooks and chains, and it's disgusting. And it's great. It's brilliant. It's scary.
And they turn. What's crazy that they actually turn you into one of them too. You become a Cenobite, right?
I don't know. Do they? I mean, I'm sure some of them get turned, and others they just torture forever, right?
Yeah, some of them just get tortured and killed, and others actually become Cenobites too, which is like you're just damned, and that's it. You become like one of the forever damned and shit. And they explain.
Well, I'd like a Cenobite instead of being ripped apart forever.
Oh, look, I mean, it's like, dude, what do you want to walk over hot coals with no feet or broken glass with nothing on your feet? I mean, it's like you shit out of luck or you shit out of luck. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, dude, when that puzzle comes together, and then the room starts getting dark, and the darkness starts enveloping the room, and you hear the music, that is terrifying to me. That is just. Oh my God! And then what about the guy, Uncle Frank, who came back with no skin?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That movie was just friggin' puke fest. I like the second Hellraiser because it had more of this is gonna sound weird, but not a superhero-y element to it, but it actually had all the Cenobite characters, and they were fighting, they were battling and stuff. Like when they went to the other side into hell and stuff, it had more of a fantastical, more physicality to it.
Somebody mentioned The Conjuring. Is that the one with the couple that investigate the paranormal?
I think that has the guy that's playing Aquaman's brother in it.
Okay, yeah, that's the couple. The Warrens.
I've been hearing good stuff about that too. I'm not.
That's an issue. Yeah, can we do honorable mentions?
Yeah, of course. Before we get to that, you're going next with the honorable mentions, but I want to say the reason why I picked the ones that I picked is because I'm not into jump scares. I know, it would jog my memory right here is The Conjuring, which I haven't seen, but I'm not into jump scares in movies. To me, that's startling. That's not scary. When things just pop out and it's like an Exorcist, you're watching The Exorcist, and then the scary face pops out of the demon, Pizzazzle.
Well, I think that's the only thing that could scare me now. Is a jump scare or just suspense.
Well, that's just it. Is that what I think is true horror is that's why I picked the movies that I picked, being Devil's Rejects and movies like American Psycho, is that it's more psychological suspense, screwed up, twisted, weird family serial killers that'll trap you and cannibalize you and shit. That's scary to me. Being trapped in someone's basement, chained to a wall as he's sawing my best friend in half with a chainsaw, and he's coming for me next with a razor blade. That shit is terrifying, bro. You know what I'm saying? So that's and that's not jump scares. You don't have to give me a jump scare for me to be watching that and going, "Oh my God, that sucks."
Why does everybody hate jump scares now? It's cool to hate on that.
Because it's just startling. It's because it's not even really scary. It's like it gets really quiet, and then a loud boom or a loud dun on a piano. with something jumping out like a cat. A cat just jumps out on a table, burn, and then the cat's there, and it's like
doing jump scares forever though, especially with like the Friday the 13th series.
Yeah.
All right, so honorable mentions, man.
Go ahead, give yours. I don't have any honorable mentions because I have a new category that I just put other stuff in.
Okay, these are the ones that I left out that I was contemplating putting in. So my top 3, Fright Night, which somebody also mentioned.
Yep, somebody also mentioned that.
Awesome vampire movie. Amityville Horror, another movie that scares me because of the haunted house, and that house just
the original,
is
though, right?
Scary looking.
The original?
Yeah. And which called Nightmare on Elm Street 1.
Oh, good mention. Good mention. Speaking of A Nightmare on Elm Street 1, I have here as another category, and you kind of like smashed both categories together, but I had a different category as 3 horror movies that scared you shitless. So I had, when I was thinking about these movies, I was like, I have favorite horror movies that I'll watch whenever they're on. Whenever this fella right here is on, whenever Devil's Rejects is on, I'll just watch those movies. But there are also movies that just scared me shitless to where I don't want to watch them ever again. They terrified me. I don't have to see it again. I'm truly scared while watching the movie. I use that as a completely separate category. And A Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one, it does come in at my number 3 on that list because Freddy Krueger gave me nightmares for years as a kid. This was before they went over the top and goofy with Robert Englund's character. And I think that him being the embodiment of the boogeyman, he's like the boogeyman. And that's just like fucking crazy scary in and of itself. And there's no escaping the dream world and all that other shit. So that, like, I don't like, I'll watch it if it's on, but I'm not going to go out of my way to watch that movie because it's like, all right, I'm kind of past that now. I've seen it enough, but that movie scared the freaking hell out of me when I was a kid. And the one part that gets me every time is the very end of the movie when they succeed and they're leaving and the hood comes over the car and closes and it's Freddy's, like his sweater. And the mother gets the hand comes through the door and grabs the mother by her face and drags her through the hole in the door. That just fucks me up, man.
Her whole body fits through that little hole.
I know. That's just like, oh my God. Oh my God, man. That part ruins me, man. Seeing that, I'm like,
But let me tell you, before that, the mother had locked up, what's her name? Is it Nancy?
Yes, Nancy's the main character.
Yeah, so she like, she locked up, she boarded up the whole house. She put like gates on the house and then locked the door to keep Nancy inside so she would sleep so she wouldn't leave.
Right.
But Nancy was doing a whole thing where she was gonna get Freddy Krueger from the dream world and bring him out into the real world. Right? And then she wanted her father to come over and, whatever, grab him. So she takes him out into the real world and she set up all these booby traps.
Yeah.
Right? And she was fucking him up.
Yeah, word.
Screaming for her dad, help me. And I'm like, yo, the cops need to save Freddy from her.
she turns into Kevin McAllister from Home Alone.
From Home Alone. She had all these booby traps. He was getting hit by a sledgehammer. He falls over the banister backwards. Yeah. Then she lights him on fire. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, somebody better save Freddy from her. But I watched the first one. I watched the new Nightmare with Nancy in it, and then I watched the remake. The remake, I didn't last 20 minutes.
Yeah, and they picked such a great guy to reprise the role. It's a shame because they had I think they hit a home run with casting who they casted to play the next Freddy Krueger. It's just the movie sucked.
Yeah, and Nancy is amazing. Nancy, I think, is one of the best female protagonists in slasher movies. Period. I think she's the best.
Yeah, no, she's really good. She's way up there. If she's not one, she's two. Off the top of the head. Shout out to Tony Trees. He's in the room with us in Slim Tim Reviews. What's going on, fellas? We got Puppet Master 5 and Return of the Living Dead from Tony Trees. Slim Tim's, I watch all the classic horror movies all the time still. Question. Were there 2 Return of the Living Dead? I remember one ending, the nuke, and then the other one was electricity. Yes. Okay, here's a quick breakdown of Return of the Living Dead. Back when George Romero was creating Night of the Living Dead. And one of my first Red Cup reviews when I had nothing to review, when George Romero died, I did a whole George Romero treat on like my favorite, I think zombie movies or horror movies or whatever. I think it was zombie related horror movies. And I broke this down. Return of the Living Dead was born out of the fact that the director, George Romero, he created Night of the Living Dead with another guy. I forgot the guy's name, but that guy had a vision for where the series was supposed to go, and George Romero didn't. So they split. What's up? Just hanging?
Yeah.
Okay. So they split off kind of. So one guy was like, I'm going to go and make Return of the Living Dead, and George Romero kept on making, Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and stuff like that. However, the other guy couldn't even use the word zombies because of some legal battle, and they were like two partners that kind of split up. And they even mention in the first Return of the Living Dead, the one where the nuke drops. Okay, the guy that just happened to pass away this week, the guy that did the Pathmark commercials. That was
Pathmark guy.
That guy, okay, he was in both of these movies. Good call on mentioning that, by the way, in the chat. He gives a story about, this was a true story. The military, and he's telling the kid, and he's trying to spook the kid out, and he's mentioning the storyline to the first Night of the Living Dead. So they kind of take place in the same universe, but they're like separate. Kind of. So that's why the zombies eat brains and they don't eat flesh, because there was a whole legal battle between these two partners that split up. So that's your kind of horror thing of the week there. All right.
I like to honorable mention the first Saw movie.
Oh, okay. Miss Bell says she honorably mentions the first Saw movie, which was actually really freaking well done.
There was a very big lull in solid horror movies at that
Are you
point.
saying this? Why don't you just come in here and say it? Otherwise, I got to repeat everything you say.
I'm not coming in there.
You could just stay off to the side. They could hear your voice. You'd be the disembodied voice, like the guy from Home Improvement. All right, the lady from over the fence, folks. Go ahead. Maybe you can hear her.
The movies kind of sucked. And that was like a solid horror movie when it came out. And it actually scared the shit out of us, remember?
Yes, it did. Yeah, so honorable mention.
Were like sucking at that point.
At that point, yes, the horror movies were kind of sucking up until that point. Yeah. And Saw was pretty freaky and fucked up too. Yes, it was a good. It was
scary.
Yes, agree, 100% on that. All right, so let's rewind the tapes back. You had we were just talking about Nightmare on Elm Street, horror movies that scared you shitless. Do you have a list for that, or did you just combine both lists? Because then I'll just keep going. Baz. Oh, we lost Baz. He's completely out of the room. We completely lost him altogether. Oh, boy. All right. Well, I hope he comes back in. I'm going to take a second here real quick and invite him back in. And hopefully he will come back in. Nope, that's not what I need. Sorry, fellas. A little bit of technical difficulties. We usually don't run into that stuff here. There we go. There he is. Source wall with Baz. And invite. We're sending him another invitation. Okay, so I'm going to keep it moving, and I'm going to talk about the next movie that scared the shit out of me, which was the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The reason why I didn't talk too much about it originally about 10 minutes ago was because I had it on this list as well. He's fucking horrifying. Leatherface. The kid's running through the house. They're trying to escape, and he just opens the door and takes the mallet and just mallets the kid right in the head, and the kid just on the floor flopping around, and he just drags him into the basement. It's the stuff nightmares are made of, fellas. So yeah, it really killed me. Let's see. Blah blah question mark. The one where rain brings the cemetery alive. Bananas. Yeah, that was pretty. I mean, it's kind of stupid. It was spooky and scary and fucked up. But that was like more of like in the comedy vein, and like the skeletons are reanimating. But it also has one of the grossest zombies in all of horror movie. The guy in the first one with brains. The guy in the basement. Another guy that'll haunt you and haunt your nightmares. Okay. Next horror movie that scared me shitless, From Beyond. This is a movie I will not ever watch again. From Beyond is a movie, for those of you that don't know, it's born out of the Cthulhu mythos, and it's based on a short story by H.P. Lovecraft, where or loosely based or something like that, and it's part of that Reanimator type thing. As Reanimator is also another Lovecraftian story, I do believe. Anyways, a scientist crafts a machine. It opens up a gateway to another dimension, and these demons from the other dimension come and take possession of your body, and they fucking warp you and warp your mind, your whole shit up, and they turn you into monsters, and they come and they eat your brains. And it's all about like expanding your third eye, which exists in like the middle of your head. And at one point, the third eye literally pokes through the guy's head and he's eating buckets of brains. It's just disgusting. It's nasty. It's nightmare fuel. I've been overusing that expression. I am totally at a loss for any other expression to use right now. But From Beyond is a movie that I will never watch again, and it scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. I read up on it, and as I was reading up on it in my adult life, because I had forgotten mostly about it, and I was like, oh, let me just IMDb this movie, and I was looking at still shots. Never have to watch it again. Mad scary. You want to go get the shit scared out of you? Back in the day when gore was real gore, and they used to use buckets of like cows' intestines and pig's blood and all that other stuff. They got it in that. They got it there. They really bring it in that movie. Okay, so that's 3 horror movies that scared you shitless. Everybody's been blowing up the chat with the movies that have scared them shitless. From Beyond was weird. Yes, it most definitely was. I always liked the Ouija board movie with Tony Katane. Don't remember that one. I like the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yes, the first remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was good. The first one they did. I think that one had Jessica Biel in it. That one was actually pretty good. And that's what got me to actually go back and rewatch the original. All right. Top 3 favorite horror characters. So now everybody blow up the chat with your favorite 3 horror characters. I'm going to spitfire mine. Baz is not with us anymore. Something must have went down with his internet, so I'm just going to keep it going. Top 3 favorite horror characters. I'm going with Patrick Bateman is number 3. Obviously, he was in one of my favorite horror movies of all time. So, and I just love his character. I think he's freaking hilarious. So Patrick Bateman is my number 3. My number 2, Captain Spaulding, another one of my favorite horror movies. How could you not include why would you have a favorite horror movie without having a favorite horror character from that movie? Captain Spaulding the Clown from The Devil's Rejects and A House of a Thousand Corpses. Another character I think is hilarious, but completely fucked up and does horrible shit to people, but it works in the context of the movie. So we have Patrick Bateman. We have the silver medal to Captain Spaulding. And number 1, if you couldn't tell by my desk before you right here, my number 1 favorite horror movie character of all time is the Mr. Boomstick Ash from Army of Darkness, Evil Dead 1 and 2, and Ash versus the Evil Dead. I love, now my favorite horror character didn't necessarily have to be the villain in the movie. I thought about this. Should I pick Jason? Should I pick Michael Myers? Should I pick Freddy? Should I pick Leatherface and all these other iconic guys like Pinhead and stuff? I'm going with the hero for my number 1 because, listen, he's the friggin' hero, man. He's the guy that's going to save us from the Evil Dead. You have Ash right here, and he's a comedic genius in those movies. He's a freaking moron. I love him to death. Bruce Campbell, wait, thumbs up. And if an iota of you likes any of the Evil Dead movies or Army of Darkness, you gotta go watch Ash versus the Evil Dead. It is one of the best TV shows, one of the best horror shows to come out in years.
Shout outs to Horace from the Monster Squad.
And we have a shout out to Horace from the Monster Squad. We're actually getting to that in a moment, but we have a Miss Bell shout out to Horace from the Monster Squad.
Bring up American Werewolf
In what, London?
Yeah.
Baz did, was one of his favorite horror movies. Yes.
Yeah.
Baz is not with us no more. He dropped out. His internet dropped. So I know. So, all right. Anyways, we're going to keep it moving. Those are my 3 favorite horror characters. I want to take a look in the thing here. Let's see. Chucky, Henrietta, and Werewolf we have Myers, Crypt Keeper, and Jason. Good looking on the Crypt Keeper. That is very iconic horror character. He slips under the radar. Tales from the Crypt, the Crypt Keeper. What a great guy. And they are bringing him back. And I believe Robert Rodriguez, I think, or one of those directors, Guillermo del Toro or Robert Rodriguez, is helping remake that series. And it's coming, I believe, on Amazon Prime or one of those streaming services. So they're rebooting a modern day version of Tales from the Crypt. And hopefully they bring the Crypt Keeper back, of course. And of course, I would want him to be in his Crypt Keeper. I want the puppet. Oh, Baz is back with us. Yay, the return. The return of Baz is coming back like the living dead. Thank you for rejoining us. Okay, so
Did he want to add anything to that?
now, Baz, I just went on a tirade of 3 horror movies that scare you shitless and my 3 favorite horror characters. Do you have those? I had just asked you, did you separate your horror movies that scared you shitless from your favorite horror movies, or did you combine them?
Well, it was a mixture. I kind of mentioned all of them.
Yes, I figured that. Okay, so then just give me your horror characters now.
Scared me, the ones that scared me shitless were Hellraiser, Amityville Horror, because I told you the whole haunted house thing scares the crap out of me. And American Werewolf in London.
Nice, awesome. It was almost like
and the Michael Jackson Thriller video.
Yeah. Oh my God. That deal, that freaking like that was pretty scary, man. Especially when they're creeping up on her at the end and they all break. The guy breaks through the floor and he's like, they're all going to grab her at once. Yeah, that shit is man scary, bro.
It sounds like it sounds funny, like you're afraid of a Michael Jackson video, but you guys got to watch this thing, man. And we didn't have zombies like that. They were really good for the time, right? That
Yeah, well,
zombie with the bubble coming out of his mouth.
I think a lot of it has to do with the eyes. I had this thing when I was a kid, and I used to go to Wildwood, New Jersey. We would stop by Atlantic City, and there was this giant elephant. I'm bringing this back to horror, fellas. Just bear with me a second. There was this giant elephant called Lucy the Elephant. All right, remember in the Iron Man 2 movie where he's eating the donut in that big Randy's Donuts? Okay, well,
Yeah.
just outside of Atlantic City, they have their own version of that, which is a giant elephant that used to be a hotel that is now like a tourist attraction, right? So this big Lucy the Elephant you can go and see. And she's got these big eyes, like these big peering eyes that pierce through you when you, and it scared the shit out of me. This giant elephant. It's huge. It's like 3 stories tall. The peering of the eyes. So getting back to Michael Jackson's Thriller, those zombies were real. When Michael Jackson turns around and his eyes are like this, you know, and then they appear around to all the other zombies and their eyes, the skin's like really dark and the blackness around their eyes. And you get this whole big thing going on here. Yo, man, crazy scary, bro. And I think a lot of that fear comes from seeing the actors really bringing it with the emotion from the eyes.
Yeah, that girl was really sold it well. Like she was really scared.
Thriller, yes. Robert Justafran, Thriller, yes. We're a bunch of sissy Marys for being afraid of a Michael Jackson video. But I'm telling you, man, it's pretty scary, man. Until they start dancing, and then it gets creepy again, you know. Okay, favorite horror movie characters, Baz. Go, come on, bring us home, baby.
Okay. I put number 1 Frankenstein, number 2 Jason, number 3 Michael Myers.
Nice. No, is Frankenstein your number 1? So it would go. So is Michael Myers your favorite or your number 3? Like, how did you number 1, 2, 3, or how's that go there?
I did it reverse, like number 1 first. So yeah, okay. Frankenstein is my number 1.
Frankenstein is your number 1. Your number 2 is who?
Jason, then Michael.
So all the bruisers, man, all the brutes that'll just crush your damn skull. You know,
yes,
these giant hulking like golems of destruction, basically. You know,
will bludgeon you to death. Exactly. Yeah, I love that.
Speaking,
but also no. What I like about Frankenstein though is the whole man trying to conquer death and creating life. That's what I really like about Frankenstein.
Oh yeah, no, it's good call there, man. Speaking of old school, and speaking of Frankenstein being your number 1, when I got the Mezco Frankenstein figure about a year ago, I went and bought on Blu-ray all the Universal Monsters horror movies. They have like a collection of them where you can get them all on Blu-ray. And I watched Frankenstein. That was the first one. Boris Karloff's Frankenstein. I was like, let me give this stuff a watch. I kind of want to, if I'm going to collect this stuff, I'm going to be into it. Let me see where all this stuff came from. So I watched Frankenstein. And Frankenstein has a really terrifying scene in it. When Frankenstein rolls up on the little girl, and the little girl's throwing the petals into the water, into the pond. Are you familiar with this scene?
Yeah, and then he throws her in to see if she floats.
Yeah. Oh my God! And then she doesn't come back up.
Yeah.
Yo, I watched that and was like, yo, that's, I guess, going back in time. Now you're in the 1930s and you're watching this. That's pretty fucking scary, man. You know?
Oh yeah.
Like this guy just like he doesn't understand any better. And it's a very Of Mice and Men moment. The John Steinbeck book where the character hugs the girl because he loves her so much and breaks her back and crushes her, smothers her to death out of love, but he doesn't realize it. And Frankie is like that misunderstood monster too, where he just grabs the girl out of love, like, oh, I don't have any more petals to throw, so I'm going to throw you in the water, and she fucking drowns. And it's a young girl, which causes the whole town to go nuts and go after him with the pitchforks and everything. But talk about for an old school, scary, kind of messed up scene. I thought it was pretty wild. I felt bad for Frankie. He didn't understand. Van Helsing, Dracula, Vampires. Just saw Jack Nicholson and Wolf. I liked it. Yeah, that wasn't bad. Chaney's Wolfman. Yep, love Frankie. Word. All that good stuff. Okay, so you're good, man. Yeah, the Golem was a freaking destruction, man.
Who was your top 3?
Oh, you lost that. My top 3 are in order, starting at 3 and going to number 1. Okay. My number 3 is Patrick Bateman. My number 2 is Captain Spaulding. and my number one was Ash. I went hero.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I've
because
been going through season 1 of that. I love it.
what the
Ash
Ash
versus
versus
Evil
Evil
Dead.
Dead, right? It's just a hilarious, great friggin' show, man.
Oh God,
You
he's
know,
so great.
yeah,
Um,
that's a great
did-
show.
you asked me favorite Universal monsters too.
Yes. Okay. So we have here. Hold on. I have here favorite Universal monster. Since we're on Universal monsters, my favorite Universal monster is Dracula. I love the Count.
Yeah.
What could I say? I love the Count so much that I used to be a rapper back in the day, and I actually named my one of my nicknames was the Count. Not necessarily Bela Lugosi's version of him, and that's going to be the second thing we pick up after we talk about the Universal Monsters thing. I have this little Dracula question I'm going to be bringing out to everybody, but I absolutely love Dracula. I like the idea that he was once I like the warrior Dracula from Wachala, right? The old school Romania, Transylvania, and then his people turn on him. He has to defend his land and becomes obsessed as Vlad the Impaler. Goes nuts from that, becomes Dracula. I really liked what they did in the new version of Dracula, the Dracula Untold story, where like Nosferatu, the Max Schreck version of Nosferatu, was living in the caves, and that's where he originally got his power from, and he became like Dracula, and the original Dracula was the Nosferatu living in the caves up in the mountains. I thought that was a great way to kind of like revamp the history a little bit and kind of modernize it and kind of bring it all together. So I'm going with Dracula. Baz, let me guess who you're going with.
Yeah. Frankenstein. Okay, so all right, so you asked me who is the best Dracula, the best person who played Dracula. That's not Christopher Lee, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly. All right, favorite Dracula incarnation, an actor not named Christopher Lee.
All right, all right. Do you have an idea who I'm gonna pick?
Dracula.
Come on, bro. Come on, you know this.
You're not going with
All right.
Blade 3. You better not be going with Blade 3.
This is why I ask stupid questions, because you can't get a funny one. All right, yeah, but that was the worst. Okay. Monster Squad Dracula is the
Yes!
ultimate
Freaking
Dracula
yes!
series.
Yes! Yes!
Ultimate,
Yes! Yes! I
right?
knew this was coming back. I knew Monster Squad was as soon as Miss Bell mentioned Horus, I was like, hold on with the Horus comment. You took the words right out of my mouth, Baz. Give it to me. Let me hear it. Come on.
That is the ultimate version of Dracula. I mean, he has the look of the Bela Lugosi from the Universal, right? He's imposing, right? He's like what, over 6'1", 6'2"? He's tall, so he's a big dude. He has all the powers, right? He has mind control, right? He could seduce and all that stuff. Can he could transform into a bat, right?
Yep.
And he's vicious as fuck.
Oh, he
He's
is.
like
He is vicious in that movie, boy.
yeah, he's not trying to seduce you or play nice at all. He's formidable. So yeah, to me, I saw that, I was like, this guy's the perfect Dracula, and he was only in one movie, man. We only got to see him once, but he was perfection.
Okay, the actor's name. Okay, and the reason why I know this is because not only am I a fan of the Monster Squad, but me and Baz, had this Professor X thing going on. So yes, my favorite Dracula incarnation, period, is Duncan Rhaegar. Is the actor's name from the Monster Squad.
Mm-hmm.
He has the regalness. He has all the components to make the best version of Count Dracula. He's got the outfit looks great on him. He's scary as hell. He's got he's the pale face with the teeth. When he fangs out on the girl, he looks great. He's super strong. He goes toe to toe with all the other Universal monsters. He's imposing. He has all the crazy powers. He takes he walks up to a dude's house and lights dynamite with his mind, and then just throws it at the kid's house. Like, screw you, you little 10-year-old piece of shit. I'm going to blow you and your little sister up and your family and your house. Like, this is a kid's movie we're talking about. Here's a little unknown Monster Squad fact. Duncan Rhaegar was actually the second choice to play Dracula in the Monster Squad. Do you know who the first choice was?
Ooh. No.
Brrr. Our favorite, Liam Neeson. was
Oh,
almost
wow.
Dracula in that movie. Liam Neeson was actually cast to play Dracula in that movie. And I believe
I was gonna say Doug Ray Scott, the guy who was originally going to play Wolverine.
that guy was supposed to play everybody, right?
Yeah.
He's like, he can't ever get a role at Hollywood because he's just constantly like almost getting the role. No, it was Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson actually got the role, and I believe they almost started shooting right before they started shooting. I don't know if there was like some kind of scheduling conflict or they went with this guy Duncan Ragar at the last minute, which is funny because the movie that came out that same year was High Spirits with Steve Guttenberg. That right, High Spirits with Steve Guttenberg, and he's the ghost in that movie. He's like the romantic ghost. So that was one of Liam Neeson's earlier roles. And it came out the same year as Monster Squad, 87, I believe. So, yes.
What did you think of Dracula and Van Helsing?
He was all right. I don't like that actor. Okay. I liked him kinda in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen as Moriarty, kinda. I kind of liked him as Dracula and Van Helsing. Van Helsing was one of those movies that was really not that good of a movie, but it was fun as hell. It's got a lot of really fun, adventurous, just cool popcorn scenes in it. And he plays a very vicious and cool Dracula. I think it was more the movie that worked in his favor, not necessarily his portrayal of the character.
I like the vicious Dracula. I don't like when they go too much towards the romantic side or the neutered kind of Dracula, like the Twilight. You know, you get like kind of like the Twilight effect if you go too far with that.
Right.
I like that he has the brides. That Dracula had like the three brides.
Yes.
From the Hammer movies. You know,
they had the brides brides of Dracula are a very important part of the lore. They had that in the Monster Squad too. When the kids were actually in Dracula's lair trying to escape, the brides were chasing them, I believe, through the corridors and stuff. If I'm not mistaken.
Oh, see, he was the ultimate Dracula. He had everything.
Every friggin' thing you could want in a Dracula, powers wise, the look. He had the cape. It's weird. Like, all right, look, if Dracula rolls up this fucking Romanian guy wearing a cape and all that, it's kind of like, all right, bro, like give it a break. But he's got the gaunt look in his face. He's got they gave him the rouge in his face to make him look undead. The fangs. Yeah. The guy's like 6'4", you know, and he does shit in that movie. He picks up the little girl, you know, give me the amulet, you bitch. At the end of the movie, the 5-year-old by her face, like, and her chin, and she's like flopping around. Freaking awesome, man. I mean, really awesome. Okay. That was okay. So rounding it out, closing out the night, what are your top 3 episodes? We're going to go a little more modern. What are your top 3 Black Mirror episodes? And for those of you that aren't familiar with Black Mirror, you need to immediately go tonight and watch yourselves at least one of these episodes we're about to mention, because I believe that I'm pretty sure I think 1 or 2 of us are going to have the same answers for some of these episodes.
Oh, yeah.
But Black Mirror is a great anthology TV show. You put it on, it's 40 minutes in and out, and it's very modern day Tales from the Crypt, but with a more technological kind of twist to it.
I would say like Twilight Zone for the 21st century.
There you go. 21st century Twilight Zone. So Baz, since I've been going first on a lot of these, you give me one of your top 3 favorite Black Mirror episodes.
Okay, number 3, I put Men Against Fire, which I believe is the episode where you have this group of army guys, and their enemy is like what they think are monsters, but they turn out to be something else.
Yes, we can't say what it is for spoilery reasons.
Right. I don't want to ruin it for anybody.
But
did you see that episode?
Yeah, of course. I saw all the episodes. So it's a futuristic like army, right? Like United States Army, right? That's attacking what is supposed to be their enemy, like the invading forces or whoever they have to take out. And there's a twist. Each episode has a twist, but there's a crazy twist in this, and has like a little bit of a technological thing. Each episode is like this little technology, like a carrot they dangle, but it's messed up. That's more of a messed up. I wouldn't say that's so much of a scary episode, but it's a messed up episode, and it's got a really.
It's a messed up in the way, I don't want to give too much of it away. The ending is really messed up.
Okay, so I'm gonna go now, and yes, it is. All these endings are messed up. My number
Yeah.
three is White Christmas with John Hamm. And White Christmas is basically they each person has like chips in their head, and what they can do is they can control who's able to communicate with other people. Okay, so if you're a criminal or if you do something that they deem is not cool, they blur out. Speaking of poltergeist, that fuzz that goes on the screen in poltergeist, the TV fuzz, the people's faces will have the fuzz on them. They'll be blurred out, and their voices will be so you won't be able to communicate with anybody. So that's how they punish you in this futuristic version of this episode. And basically, the episode deals with the fact that if a human being is cut off from society and any type of societal interaction for so long, they'll truly go insane because we're social animals. Crazy twist ending at the end. John Hamm plays an excellent role in it, and it's just a psychological screw fest. Imagine being trapped where you can't see anybody or hear anybody ever again. You can see them, and they'll try to communicate with you, but they'll just be blank faced. Like NPCs, like NPC characters, but like true ones. With their voice just like kind of blurred out. So that's my number three. Baz, number two.
Okay, hold on. Kev's Matrix mentions John Carpenter Vampires, a fun one. I agree. That was
Yeah, I
very
agree
good.
too. Mad
Yeah.
fun, and has one of my all time favorites in there, in James Woods playing a master vampire hunter, and they got some cool weapons too. Anything John Carpenter does is pretty freaking awesome. And I left off one of my favorite. And I see him more of a sci-fi dystopian. I love his movies, but I always see him as more of a sci-fi stuff, which is why I excluded movies like They Live from my list, because I don't consider that horror. I consider that like sci-fi dystopian type. And we'll do a dystopian episode in the future where we'll talk about more John Carpenter-y type stuff. But good call on the vampires.
Okay, number two for Black Mirror. Tony Trees already mentioned it. Video game test is crazier. Yes, playtest is
Ah,
number two.
playtest. Yes. Yes.
That's
Talk
the first
about
episode you've ever seen, right?
that was the
Of
first
Black
episode
Mirror.
I ever seen it. Yeah, I believe you it was you, I think, that told me to see it, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to see this, and it completely screwed my mind. This is your go. This is your go. You talk about playtest.
Okay, playtest. Basically, a guy who he's backpacking through Europe, right?
Yes.
And he meets this girl, and doesn't she steal his money or something, or
Yes, he's
he
pretty much
loses money
broke.
somehow?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he gets ripped off in like an Eastern European country, and he has to find a way to get money to continue his like little backpacking trek through Europe, basically.
So then he responds to an ad for video game tester.
Yep.
Yeah, and yeah, craziness ensues.
Pretty much, like they find a way to jack into there's a company that's making a new virtual reality video game where they can jack you into the video game itself. And what the video game does is it preys on your deepest fears. So if you're afraid of as Peter Venkman would say, what's his face, like, we think of J. Edgar Hoover will come and destroy us. Okay, so that's basically the premise, is that it preys on you go into like a haunted house, or like this crazy log cabin, in a video game world. You get jacked in Matrix style, and it just preys on your fears. But what is truly scary? Is it scarier to see a monster, your technical jump scares, or is a slow descent into madness even more scary? That's pretty much what the episode's about, without giving it away. So you guys really need to go see Playtest. So Playtest, Baz, is your number two. And I have
Me
a
too.
feeling, Baz, our number two and number ones are going to be interchangeable. I'm going to continue it on the my number two is the USS McAllister episode, which is
Okay, can I just say that's my number one?
I knew it. I knew it. My number one is your number two, and your number two is my number one, because my number one is Playtest. The USS
There you go.
McAllister was a great freaking episode. Again, another one of those horror type those horror type stories where you feel bad for the son of a bitch. And then towards the end, you're like, wow, that was really fucked up what happened to this guy, but he deserved everything he got coming to him. Basically, another video game type episode. Guy creates a World of Warcraft, but in space type online adventure in this futuristic, it's all futuristic based, and you jack in Matrix style kind of, and you pretty much go in, your mind gets sucked into the video game itself, and you can live it out as if it's almost like a holodeck. But it's very 1960s Star Trek, right, Baz?
Oh yeah, and it's cool because at the end they even leave it open for like future installments for like a spin-off.
So it's got a lot of cool aspects of the cheesy old Star Trek TV show. And you really can't, because there's a few twists in that episode. The episode has like 3 big twists in it, so I really can't really talk that much more about it. But if you like Star Trek and you like crazy fucked up shit happening to people, and the idea that you can be lost, your mind can actually be lost in the Matrix somehow, eat it up. Hook, line, and sinker. Baz is number 1.
One of the scariest villains too. The guy who created that virtual world. Was one of the guys from Breaking Bad who what you call it was working with what's his name, Jesse. Remember he like put Jesse in chains and everything. You remember? Have you seen Breaking Bad?
I jumped off after season 2, so I wouldn't know.
Oh, okay. So all right, he's one of the characters from Breaking Bad. He's just like a terrifying, just actor, and it's just like he's emotionless the way he portrays himself.
Oh, we know somebody like him. Wink, wink. Don't say nothing.
Okay.
So that was your number 2. No, that was your number 1. My number 2.
That was my number 1. Yeah.
My number 1 was Playtest. What happens to the main character in Playtest is something that really fucked with me on a personal level. That episode haunted me for 2 weeks. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I could not stop thinking about how horrific that experience was for this character in this particular episode. And I was putting other people at my job onto it. And I was like, look, you have to watch Black Mirror. I'm not watching Black Mirror. Go and watch the fucking TV show and watch the episode Playtest. I did the same thing to them that you did to me, Baz. And these guys were coming back going, yo, that was horrific what happened to this dude, because that is true horror. Guy coming after, walking golems that can come in and crush your head. Texas Chainsaw guys could cut you up. All that stuff is great and all that. But what's really terrifying is a literal descent into madness and losing yourself and losing everything you care about. It's fucking horrible. And it's just so good on a horror level. It's delicious. Eat it up.
Yeah, I'm starting to like you talking about it. Just actually, I'm starting to lose my mind right now.
I descend into madness. Neck stand up, bro. Like, you know,
I'm descending into madness as we speak. I'm gonna have insomnia. I'm gonna be up all night.
And that was another one of those things where I only watched it once, never had to watch it. Even though it was my favorite episode. And there's a lot of good episodes. Metalhead's a really good episode with the killer attack dogs. Somebody mentioned the one with Bronn from Game of Thrones where they're playing that whole telephone game where they got to do like crazy shit and jump through the hoops. It's basically like a horror version.
Dude, that almost made my list. Like where like a secret anonymous person has like dirt on you, and then he like makes you do things, or else he's gonna release the information. So he has a bunch of people. He enlists a bunch of people that he has dirt on, and he makes them like do things for him. Oh man, that was so
like that episode reminded me of Die Hard 3. That was like the horror version of Die Hard 3. Like, go here and rob the bank, then go and make an asshole out of yourself in front of a group of people, then go over here and do something else. And he had him doing all like these crazy little things. And then there's the big twist at the end that was completely screwed up. But you know what? Fuck those guys. They had it coming to them.
Yeah, they did some messed up shit. I felt bad. When you find out what they did,
and that's masterful writing. That to me is what's crazy is that you get a horror. A lot of these horror themes that we've been talking about throughout the show is the idea that these characters, you feel bad for them or you like them. In my case, it would be I like Patrick Bateman. I don't know if I would want to hang out with him. Captain Spaulding, I think, is hilarious. It's like, oh, I kind of like this guy, but he's a dick, so I really don't want to like him. It's like it's like the Joker, right? Like you like him, but really he's just a fucking maniac that Batman has to punch, but he's kind of funny. And it brings you into that ambiguity of like, do you feel bad for the guy? Do you like the guy? Or is he just a homicidal maniac?
Chris Faulkner says, "What up, guys? Finally made a show."
Hey, Chris Faulkner, what's going on, brother? I've been talking to Chris Faulkner for a very long time now in the chat room, in the Facebook chats and stuff. He frequents a lot of the same boards I do. I'm glad you could join us. We're starting to wind the show down now, and you just happen to make the tail end of it, but that's okay. At the 40-minute mark, we jump into the whole first half of the show is the stuff that we talk about for the week and pop culture stuff, and from the 40-minute mark on is all horror filled goodness. So that that's pretty
a lot of They Live. Love.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, they live is great, man. That's the documentary right there. We need those characters who walk the line to make us feel connected to them. Yes, exactly. Good point. But I don't want to feel connected to these people. But we are. You see, Alan Moore has this. We all live on the whims of maniacs, and we exist on the whims of maniacs and psychopaths. Like that's one of his quotes, right? And the human beings from the beginning of time, which were violent animals. And whether we want to be like that, we see the whole idea behind society and civilization is we want to shed that and transcend it. We're bringing ourselves out of the food chain, out of the animal kingdom, and we thumb our nose at these animals that eat each other and lions that eat their young and all this other stuff. But we're animals, and we do have that in us. I believe that even the best person, the best of us, is one finger snap away, one bad day away from becoming, a lunatic. So, I think that the human beings go through that battle every day, whether you're in your car and a guy cuts you off, or you go like you're falling down, right? You go to order your breakfast, but it ain't breakfast no more. That's like a crazy, silly exaggeration, but I think that, Chris Faulkner makes a good point with that. Like we're connected to them in some way, and maybe we hate ourselves.
Falling down. Hold on, Mezco, falling down character, man, with a rocket launcher. Come on,
that would be great. Talk about see. All right, but now we're getting some places. All right, they're gonna start making characters like this fellow right here, falling down. Michael Douglas would be a cool friggin' Mezco figure to have.
Oh yeah.
Good call. A lot of good calls here. I think.
Did you give him a good? Well, how was your review on him? You like that figure or what?
Alex got 4.5 cups. He's excellent. Absolutely excellent. His head sculpts are great. All three of them are great. He's got the milk. All the stuff fits into his hands. His joints are really tight. His outfit will not ever rip or break because it's all cloth. Why did I not give it a perfect score? I think it was, this is what it got such a great score for me. If you put it under if you just look at it, you bring it up close and look at it, the paintwork on his face is the best Mezco has ever done. It actually has his freckles. He has the skin texture and freckles of a regular person, and they have that paintwork on his hand as well. Not just the outside of the hand, but the inside of the hand. So certain parts of the hand, like in this hand right here where he's holding the cane, certain parts of the hand, because his hand is like this, it's redder in the parts where like your line would run in your hand. Like when you make a fist, your knuckles get white. So the rest of the right behind the knuckles should be red, but the knuckles should be white. In his case, the hand that's like this, it's actually redder where the blood would get trapped in the hand a little bit. So the paintwork on this figure is fucking awesome. So that just pretty much, threw it over the hill for me right there. I was like, I'm doing the Mezco figures. I'm doing a lot of superhero stuff, but this guy is going in my movie collection. He's staying.
Robert Just a Fan says, can't believe Joel Schumacher made Falling Down. Wow. But you know what? Joel Schumacher made Lost Boys.
Yeah, he also made Lost Boys. So.
And another, what was it? 9mm.
You mean 9mm? You mean Flatliners?
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say this now. And I didn't want to say it until it came out, and I hope I'm not shooting myself in the foot, but I've been teasing this for weeks. The unofficial Michael Keaton Academy of Getting Nuts, which is a Facebook page that everyone that follows this page should be following that on Facebook as well. It's hilarious. They do all types of Batman 89 memes. I'm always posting and sharing it to the Red Cup, the official Red Cup page. They're doing a review of Batman Forever. and they asked for people to send in like little mini reviews to be included into their major review. And I submitted to them. They fell in love with the review. It's only 2.5 minutes long. I had to rewatch Batman Forever, and I give a nice little funny breakdown of that movie, and that should be coming out within the next week and a half from them once they're done getting their stuff together. But they sent me an email saying it was great. They loved it. So hoping that was the big surprise. I'm hoping that they actually do include it and they don't the footage doesn't go missing. So the unofficial Michael Keaton Academy of Getting Nuts will be getting the Red Cup treatment, which is something I'm pretty proud of because it's one of my favorite Facebook groups, and it's a chance to obviously spread the Red Cup name out there. Yeah, caffeine will kill you. Mezco is having a pretty good run here with their recent releases. Michael Myers, Delarge, the Iron Man. Ash is on the way. Ash will be here Monday, and Catwoman reviews look good. Yes, so I'll be doing the Catwoman review and the Ash review this week as well. That'll be coming to the house on Monday. So you'll be getting Catwoman and Ash this week as well, along with the Harley Quinn thing, like I mentioned earlier. And for those that are here or weren't here before, go out and get yourself these nice little I just did a review on these bad boys. These are great. I can't wait to get more of them. I'm going to throw the order in soon. Anyways, that's all I got here as far as Red Cup stuff goes. Baz, is there anything you want to say before we reconvene for the following week?
Yeah, so I've been, since I've been on a horror kick lately, I picked up this right here from NECA, the Ultimate Freddy from Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Nice.
And so I started looking at the Mezco Halloween Michael Myers figure, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I could get this for $85 to $100, or I could get the NECA for $25 when it comes out.
Yeah,
so I think I'm gonna. And I like NECA's stuff now. Their articulation is improving. Their sculpts are beautiful. So I love their It figure. The God of War figure was excellent. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna stick with that going forward. Like I'll probably be getting the Ash figure from Ash versus Evil Dead from NECA also.
Oh, nice.
So I don't know. What do you think about that? Like the horror figures with NECA versus Mezco?
Okay. I think that I'm a Mezco guy, true and true, but that's because I collect Mezco. I don't want to start mixing scales. So I'm sticking with Mezco. I love the cloth, the soft goods on them. They remind me of like little miniature Hot Toys. However, that being said, if you can't get a decent price on some of them, like on some of the Facebook groups, you can get them for like 80 shipped. Some of the figures you can get for like 70 or 65 shipped, depending. And those are like kind of few and far between. The Halloween figure looks to be a home run, and it's a very plain figure. I didn't order them. I have the Jason figure coming, and if they do a Freddy, I'll get them to go along with my Ash that I got coming on Monday. But the NECA figures look great. They're stepping up their articulation. I think McFarlane's going to start making a big push too, not to kind of swerve this completely in another direction, but McFarlane has a Fortnite series coming out for those of you that play Fortnite. I know my son's going to go nuts over them. And they all have double jointed knees and elbows and rotating ball joints on the wrists. And why is that important? Because McFarlane doesn't do that. McFarlane puts out statuesque looking, very good looking statuesque style action figures. And now the figures are starting to hit that next level where they have the double jointed knees and elbows. Mezco is forcing all these companies to kick it up a notch. Notice how that ever since Mezco came out and started blowing the doors off the industry, that Marvel Legends now are coming with 2 different head sculpts and various different hands. The companies are being hard pressed. This is like the Monday Night Wars of action figures. And this is what we want. We want these companies to vie for our dollars. And I think that if you're not going to go with Mezco, I would stick with one. I would stick with, like you said, you got the Freddy, the Nightmare on Elm Street. Stick with NECA. Get yourself the Ash, get yourself the Michael Myers, and keep them in a set because they're all going to look uniform on your shelf, and it's going to make for a better presentation. Plus, the articulation is very good anyway, and the sculpts, especially the face sculpts on those, are great. I mean, they're really good, and a lot of the time, the face sculpts are even better than some of the Mezcos. I just like the Mezco for
exactly. Did you see the new Spider-Man from Mezco? The face sculpt on that homemade outfit?
Yes.
Yeah, it was kind of eh.
Yeah, I thought it was all right. I'm getting it. I'm gonna be reviewing it. I thought it was okay. I thought it looked pretty good for the actor. No, maybe a hair better than a Marvel Legend because it doesn't have the plasticky look to it. Like the paint apps are a little bit better, but it's not nothing that you couldn't get from another company, especially for the price point.
Yeah.
It's not like something that like completely blew my mind. If you're gonna go for the
Robert,
Mezco,
just a fan, is asking me what what Ash from NECA. It's the Ash versus Evil Dead from the what you call it, this television show.
yeah, where he has the blue, he
That's the
has
older Ash.
the Neil Adams shirt.
Yes, yeah.
Neil
Oh my
Adams
God,
Ash.
it's right. It's Neil Adams. Neil Adams wears the same blue shirt, or just has like 20 blue shirts of the same style
Yeah, he
at
goes into
every
his closet,
convention
Neil
we go.
Adams. And for those of you that like to visit Comic Cons, go and check out every picture ever of Neil Adams. And he's like Mr. Rogers with these friggin' with these blue shirts. It's the same blue shirt, bro. Let's see. Okay, it says here that the Mezco's their promo photos never do them justice. They don't. I was going to stay away from Mezco's back in the day until I saw the Daredevil up close. That was my first Mezco figure. No, my first Mezco figure was the Dark Knight, and I was like, all right, I'm done. I got the Dark Knight figure. I'm good. I am not spending $80 on action figures. Then I saw the Daredevil in a comic store window, and I fell in love with it. And I was like, I can't believe how these figures do not photograph, and when you have them in hand, they're on another level. I got into an argument today with the guy that I did the interview with, that guy I talked about earlier, the artist, Jesus Marquez. He's a big Marvel Legends guy, and he's like, I am not spending $80 on an action figure. And I'm like, that's 3 Marvel Legends. 3 Marvel Legends in New York City with tax, they're $25 a piece. That's $75. That's pretty much the price of a Mezco figure, because you can get Mezco figures between $75 and $80 on Facebook, free shipping from some of these online vendors. Like people that sell individually in the Facebook pages. And to me, they're worth more than 3 Marvel Legends. It depends on the Marvel Legends you got. It depends on what type of team you're trying to build. Because, obviously, if you want to have your X-Men team now or your Avengers team now, you go Marvel Legends because they can pump stuff out faster. By the time Mezco's done with their stuff, you'll be 80 years old by the time you get your team out. Mezco also dropped a scuba suit version of Cyclops this week, which I am totally in love with. They have the original Chris Claremont version of Cyclops coming out from the 80s. I think it actually looks better. I'm like one of 3 people that think it looks better than the Jim Lee version. And I am all in because my favorite version of the X-Men is that version during the Dark Phoenix saga. So it's probably the team I'm going to be building for my Mezco collection. I am going to get both. You are going to get reviews on both. But he comes with a really cool unmasked Cyclops Scott Summers head with just his regular glasses on. That looks totally awesome.
Now, with the unmasked head, can you apply the blasting effects
on the unmasked head? I don't think so. No, because the unmasked head has it's him with his sunglasses on. It's like the Scott Summers. Right. I'm just hanging out in high school. Scott Summers. I'm just hanging out in the X Mansion, and he has his little visors on, but he does come with the same blast effects, those giant, ridiculous blast effects that he comes with, that the other figure comes with as well. So
I like the Jim Lee version on that.
The Jim Lee version is great. The Jim Lee version is great too. But then you can start getting into the idea of like how much am I really going to spend $80 on each figure making an X-Men team? I personally can't wait for them to do a Colossus. If they're doing Polystone for Darkseid, their Colossus that's probably going to have metal components is going to be off the chart. So he's coming soon too, because they already have Tiger Wolverine. Now they have Scuba Cyclops. Colossus is coming down the pipe. It's coming, folks. I love the Scuba Cyclops, dude. It's got the unmasked head too. Yes. Okay. So me and Chris Faulkner are brothers in arms when it comes to Cyclops. So the Cyclops figure. Great. Good freaking stuff. So if I
are you going to display him with? Are you going to display him with the unmasked head, or?
I don't know, man. I mean, I changed things up. I might take the jacket from the Jim Lee Cyclops and put it on the scuba head Cyclops and put the unmasked head on and have Wolverine with his unmasked head and have them kind of like just hanging out. Like maybe I'll roll up like a little piece of paper and put it in Wolverine's hand, make it look like a cigarette. And then I'll like switch it up and have like Wolverine all like, jacked out and Cyclops with his blasts on. I do weird shit like that from time to time. Like my Ghostbusters display, which is like up in the ceiling right now. You guys go to like the official Red Cup review page. I got pictures and shit up there. I have like, instead of the Ghostbusters standing with the blasters out, I have like Peter with the cigarette in his hand, just hanging on Winston's shoulder, talking to him. Sometimes I like those candid shots in my my stuff. Sometimes I like the action shots. Sometimes I like those candid shots of the action figures. So I might interchange some stuff too, and then figure out what I want to go from there.
Yeah, see, I'm looking to go for the like the Capcom versus Marvel Cyclops kind of thing with the giant blast where he's like
completely
raising his
just
head
like
to the sky.
unleashing, right?
Yeah, I want to go for that. So that fits.
That's
it.
cool. And that's what's great is that they're going to give you the opportunity to be able to do that. Like Chris Faulkner just mentioned, it's the interchangeability. It's the idea that you can kind of like take aspects from one and the other and create your own. I did that with the classic Punisher. I took the Punisher Classics harness off of him, the white. I sold my Punisher Classic and most of his weapons. I took the M60 gun. I put it on the PX Punisher with the straps and the side holster, the two holsters for his pistols. And I have him all like, with the screaming head sculpt with the black eye, like going nuts. That's how I have him in my display. So it gives you the option to kind of mix and match too, which is really nice. And the figures go for such a pretty penny that even if you wanted to mix and match and you're like, you know what, I don't know what I'm going to do with another version of the character, you could probably just take that version of the character that's like, and sell it for like parts. Kind of, sell the hands, sell the head sculpts and stuff, and pretty much make your money back going that route too. Oh God. Okay. Happy early Halloween. All peace be and safe and have fun. Yes, Kev's Matrix. Yes. On that note, we are going to shut down the live because it is 12 o'clock. This is the longest episode we've ever done. I want to thank everybody for joining us. We got to break that 10 mark. It's been weeks since we broke the 10 viewers at once in here. Please share the page. Try and get your friends in here so you guys can talk shit to each other in the chat. I would appreciate it. Josh Gavin is already sharing the page. It really helps us. Please remember to like the video. Last week's live ended. I only had two likes. Everybody in the chat room, that helps spread the love. We got to get more people in here, man. This is, come on, man. We're a family. This is what we do. All right, fellas.
Yeah,
thank you very much. What happened?
Real quick, before I was thinking, like, I liken this, like, I don't really like go out anymore, really, or hang out anymore. I'm just so busy. So like Saturday night for me is like this is almost like getting together like at a bar and just talking shop with the guys for like an hour and a half or something. You know what I mean?
It's great.
This is
yeah. This is the next evolution of like when you have kids and you gotta like kind of you want to talk your shop and all that. And there was a period when I didn't have that. There was a period over the last few years with Baz, me and you really weren't hanging out that much, and weren't able to talk as Grayson and Zoe. I'm raising them and all that, and it just life gets in the way. And there was a hole. There was a hole in Rob Banks's heart, and I'm glad that I could fill it with this type of stuff because it gives me an out to talk shop with strangers, people I never met, and people I'd probably wind up having a beer with, and be able to talk this type of shit, which was just great. So here's a virtual beer for all of you guys. Thumbs up, my hats off to you. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. Next week we are coming back with I don't know what, because we don't have a theme for it yet, but you'll know by Wednesday, I promise. Go check out the official Red Cup Review page on Facebook, and please remember to subscribe, like the page, share it. This way I could just put out one post instead of having to put out 100 friggin' posts during the week. It'll save me time and energy of having to post over and over again. If you guys join the official Red Cup Review page on Facebook, you get the posts, you get the likes, the updates, the little pictures of shit. My wife's always updating that stuff for you guys too. Baz, thank you. Oh, and go and subscribe to the Source Wall as well. Because Baz has got here's something he's starting up.
I put out these little boring little videos I do with I have like a palm tree in the background.
Yeah. This
if
really
you want to see that.
this stuff works very good too. If you're going on the train to work, or if you're driving in your car and you got an hour ride like I do, you put this on in your Bluetooth and you listen to us talk the shit for an hour and a half for your car ride or your train ride. All right, fellas, thank you very much. Wait, okay. So now we got people just jumping in out of nowhere. I hate this. I hate closing. Every week I go to close the show and like 3 more people show up and they're like, hey, glad to watch the show. And it's like, damn it. Like, okay. Remember that skit from Mr. Show where he was like, don't call in this week, call in last week, because this week's show you have to call in next week because the delay in the phone. I feel like I go through that every week. Show. Please join us next week at 10 o'clock. Let me know also through a private message. That's another reason. You want to talk to me and kind of like send me private messages and shit. Red Cup Review. official Facebook page, official Red Cup review on Facebook. You could send me messages. I answer everything within a few hours. Anyway, I'm always on my damn phone. And if this time slot works for you guys seem to be coming back more and more. So we appreciate it and all that other good stuff. Rob, just a fan. Thank you for subscribing once again. Chris Faulkner, you are the man. Thank you for joining us. And whoever the new person is that just showed up, Bob, Jess, Jay, Pass Bob. Hi. Glad that you're joining us, but we are closing the show down, and you missed a doozy this week. This was our longest show, and we were talking about horror and the week in pop culture, and we were talking about Teen Titans and all kinds of crazy shit, and the chat was blowing up like crazy. So thank you, everybody. Shout outs to Tony Trees, Chris Faulkner, you're the man. I can't say it enough. We love you guys. We'll catch you next week. Baz, hold on. I want to talk to you after the show, and we'll see you guys.
Okay.
All right? Later, fellas.
Happy Halloween, guys. Have a good one.